Okay, so let's talk on the cloud function. Google Cloud offer a facility. Sometime I want to execute my function set of code on the particular event. So instead of we are going to build complete application and deploy, generally uh, we are doing in the case of virtual machine. You can create virtual machine, deploy your applications and then test, or maybe a Kubernetes engine. You can create application, make the containers and deploy the containerized application. Similarly, in the cloud run, you are building the complete application, make the container image and tell, hey cloud run, can you just run my applications. So now, instead of going to deploy the complete application can contain lots of file, user case function. So sometimes our requirement, hey, I have this set of code, this set of code that should be executed. Let's say particular files are created, or some activity or some event happen in a GCP environment. Let's user want to hit the request, this my code should be executed. So whenever you are focusing to execute your code or function, where cloud function help us. The cloud function provide a facility where a developer can execute his set of code or code snippet or function on a particular event. Okay, so let's talk. So cloud function is the serverless, look like a service. You can say cloud functions is the fully managed service offered by the Google Clouds, and it is a come under the serverless technology. Serverless technology say, hey, developer or business users only focus on our works, our project, our product. Don't too much worry about the infrastructures like virtual machines, software, hardware, networking, everything. So this is the hidden network infrastructures are hidden from the developer. So cloud function also is come under the serverless technology, and here Google Cloud provide every infrastructure for your code or a function that required to run. So cloud function is a serverless compute service that's enable you to run a small code snippet, or you can call a functions or methods in response to an events. So whenever particular event happen in our resources, in our project, in applications, you want to execute set of codes. Maybe users have uploaded some video file, click on the some links, or created some pop some message. Any kind of event happen inside your uh, cloud environment, you want to execute the this code snippet. So Google Cloud offer this facility, and the events which can trigger, and the various maybe your HTTP request event, cloud storage update, cloud pulse messages, or any real-time database update required. Hey, maybe so this function. So you can say event can be anything that's in your applications. Something happen by the user, automatic happen, some request click happen, something happen, those event you want to execute some script, some code snippet. So where cloud function help us. The cloud function is a serverless compute services offered by Google Cloud. And if you talk about the overall architectures of the cloud functions, generally cloud function contain the following components. In the case of your serving to execute your function. So let's you have a set of code or particular function written, okay, and you want this code must be executed on the particular trigger. The first is a very key criteria in the cloud function. You should know when my function is going to execute. So first you have a let's key decide a this is my event. Event can be upload file, click event, click URL, upload message something, and then what the function you want to execute. So you have to write your function. And function whenever writing that's a required runtime environment. Function can be in a different language. Okay, so let's talk this so that overall idea in the cloud function is that on your project, on your cloud environment, if any things happen by the users or the automatic happen by another software, you want to perform some action. You want to perform some uh, action, that means set of code you want to execute. So you have to define those things here. So let's talk about the trigger. Trigger is the very key important because this is the event on which basis your functions are action going to the perform. So trigger is an event that initiate the execution of your cloud function. Trigger can be HTTP request. That means any particular URL customers are going to hit. Maybe customers going to hit any our client UI, a client or web application going to hit. On those click or send the HTTP request. You want to hey, this is my set of functions, set of code written. I want to this set of code must be executed. So cloud function that means your set of snippet of code that you want to execute. Or maybe someone cloud storage update that might be on the cloud storage on a bucket. Someone going to the upload some document, upload some image, some log file, any message, someone any message can uploading, or someone created bucket, or someone can deleted the particular files. So these are the cloud storage update action. Maybe on the pops up messages, on the particular pops up on the topic, someone can return the message, send the message, and whenever the message is received, you want to perform some set of action, a particular code. Maybe some Firebase or real time in your database update something. Hey, some particular database, maybe some particular row or tables row deleted or some action happened. I want to take another action on the behalf of that. So all these consider as a trigger. So first you have to identify your event on which event the particular function are going to trigger. So as you mentioned, whenever you're talking about the function, so function is set of statement, set of code, line of code you want to execute. Okay. Generally, whenever you are talking the line of code, a code snippet that must be executed or called as a function, you have choose some programming language on which programming language you are going to write this code. So generally, as of now, you can say Google Cloud Function support. You can write code in the Node.js or Python or Go language, Java language, C hash language, Ruby, PHP. These are the set of programming language. You have an option. You can write the code snippet. Okay, so because the function must be right in a particular language, right? So we have to select which programming language I am going to write my function or code snippet. So according to the language, you have to need the runtime environment. You have written the Java language or Python or Ruby. So for running your code, we need to require the runtime environment. So here runtime is the environment in which the function executed. So cloud function provide the managed runtime environment, which included the language runtime, library, dependency that required the function. Because you are writing the just function, and in this function you are using some dependency, some library. So those all the runtime environments is created by the cloud function for it. That's provided. So you just don't worry about the library depend. Just tell this code snippet required the dependency with this library, this function, and that environment preparations is responsible by the cloud function. And these are the some cloud function services, you can say. This is the first fully managed Google Cloud Platform Services. And it is a talk cloud function is a serverless service. That means you as a developer don't need to think how to provisions or manage, create server, virtual machine, anything. Okay, and it is also a responsibility of the cloud function that it's manage the life cycle of your function. Life cycle of function means you can your deployment and execution, how your code going to deploy and how it's going to execute. Your life cycle of your functions are also managed by the Google Clouds, and it's automatically scale to handle the change in the workload. So whenever you deploy your applications and depend upon your traffic on your particular functions or event, it function automatically scale. So you don't worry about the scalability, high availability things, and fault tolerant things. That everything taken care by the cloud function. So ensuring cloud function ensure that your function can execute it quickly and efficiently in any circumstances. Maybe is you can say a small number of small number of requests come, or high number of traffic required. Okay, so everything taken care by your cloud function. So these are the basics about the cloud function. And so let's think the use case, generally the scenario where this cloud function is fit. Okay, so first the use case about the any real-time data processing. Cloud function can be used to real-time data streaming, such as IoT devices, social media, financial market. So whenever you want to process a small or real-time data, where the cloud functions also is the fit. And sometime you want to any kind of API management, you want like a HTTP request, authentication user, route the request to particular downstream services. In those scenario, also a cloud function is fit. Even you want to some image or video processing. Okay, so in those scenario, like your let's say on a YouTube, you are uploading some video. So once the video uploaded, YouTubes are going to transcode your particular video in the different format. So maybe you're transcoding, or maybe applying watermarking, or maybe resizing a different shape, different devices, because you are uploading a video in a particular format, but this video can be displayed on the mobile, can be displayed on the desktop, can be displayed on the tabs. So different resizing, different formatting. So all these things, you can say cloud functions is can be capable to do the processing of image or video. And even you want to apply some machine learning concepts, so deploy the machine learning model, maybe image classification, natural language processing, or any recommendation engine you are where there is small code of we want to execute. This is also where it can be. Even you want to build some chatbot or any conversational interface, the scenario this cloud functions are even the lots of use cases. But Sometime you can say you want any kind of asynchronous workloads such as lightweight data processing or ETL jobs or cloud automations. These are the scenario or use cases where the cloud function can be fit. Even you can webhook or any kind of API or mobile backend IoT devices processing. If, in the scenario, you can say lots of scenario where we can think where you want a particular event trigger and you want to perform some set of actions. So these cloud function help us to meet the requirement. But these are some kind of there are some kind of limitation because they have a cloud function is a serverless, so you cannot do whatever you want. But what the cloud function support. So, for example, whatever the function you are writing, they have some timeout. You cannot say function going to run long times. If your function is run too long, maybe it is terminated by the Google Cloud because they have some default timeout. So the default timeout by default is a 60 second. That means you can your function must be executed within a 60 seconds. But you want maybe you can extend or reduce this time when you deploy this function. Okay, and this maximum time out of the maybe this is the default. You want to change maximum can go up to the 60 for your the jobs or for any HTTP request, and 9 minute for event driven. So any event driven any function you have that have a 9 minute maximum timeout, and if you have any kind of a HTTP request, then we have a maximum timeout the 16. Default is the 60 second, but in your event driven function that have a maximum 9 minutes of your times. So please be consider whenever you are using a cloud function and decide how much times your cloud function take to execute. Because if they are taking more than the maximum defined timeout, might be your function can be terminated by the GCP itself. So please be aware about they have a function timeout limitation, memory limitation, CPU limitation. So lots of you can say cloud function. Google have applied lots of quotas. Now, good option we can check out the official documentation and share the link as well as where you know these things cannot do beyond on your function. Okay, so let's a quick overview about the kind of how you can create the cloud function. Okay, so whenever you are go on this and just go a little bit down, this is the cloud run and this is the cloud function. Just you can search here cloud function. This is the cloud function. So cloud functions, as we mentioned, this is the kind of a okay. So as I mentioned, cloud functions are simple cloud run functions that is the lightweight, that is event based, asynchronous compute solution. This is the very generally for the small setup snippet of code you want this for the our cloud function, cloud run function you can say, and this is the event based because this function are going to call on the particular event, and generally this is asynchronous compute. Okay, and you can create very small single purpose function. This is the function should be not too much heavy, and it should for the single purpose use. Okay, so that this cloud function is help to if this is a scenario meet, then you can surely explore this cloud run function. Just go to the create cloud run functions, click the create cloud run function. it will come here. So you have whenever whatever we discuss, everything you can find here. So one thing, cloud run have a two environment, you can say. One is your so one notice here you have a uh, first gen and cloud run. So this is the first generation cloud run, and now is the cloud run function. So we have a two options. We'll talk the differences between the what is the differences between the first gen cloud run and what is the differences between the cloud functions. So you have to be carefully select. You are going to run using the cloud run uh, function in the first generation or simple cloud run function. So by default, Google recommend use the cloud run function instead of first generation. First generation have some kind of a limitations which we'll talk, and you can give any cloud run functions, and the cloud run function can be run on a particular regions. You have to specify the region. So you have to give your first the environment, first gens or cloud run, then you have to specify your cloud function, and this cloud function can run on particular regions. So you have to select the regions, and here we have a important point about the trigger. Okay, so which trigger you want to trigger can be. So here trigger can be your HTTP request or PubSub or cloud storage or file store database or other trigger. So lots of trigger you can event you can find here. So once you decide the trigger, then you can, let's HTTP. So HTTP they require this URL. This URL someone going to hit, or maybe client application, web application, your cloud function going to execute. Okay, or maybe if you select like a PubSub, so you have to select the which topics. Hey, this is a first go to the create topic and subscription and select this topic. Any message someone going to write, and that times this particular function going to be executed. Even similarly your cloud storage. So cloud storage you can specify, hey, what kind of object they are going to the update any object, delete object, archive object, or creation object. So someone going to the create any file document on the cloud store where these function can be started. So whenever you are going to use the cloud store, so in cloud store you are going to the create a bucket, and bucket you can upload file folder update, or you can say delete them or move to the different storage class. So here you have to be carefully, you are in case of archiving or in case of deleting or in case of creating or in case of your metadata update. So all this kind of event can become, right? And even you can once you select your event time, then browse your bucket name on which bucket you are going to apply this cloud function. And even about the file store is specify the database. This means that means these all are the options you have. You can maybe HTTP request, or you can say cloud PubSub, cloud storage, file database, or other trigger also you can specify, right? So once you selected any kind of a cloud function, after that, maybe if HTTP, then you can specify, hey, this is the allow on authentication invocation or required authentication, authorization, security, everything, cloud IAM, you can select them anyone's, right? And you have also some other configuration parameter you can set. Hey, what the runtime environment, and what are the memory allocated, what are the CPU allocated, right? Now number of maximum concurrent requests can handle, your auto scaling, what number of minimum instances or maximum instances, what are the service account we required. So these, in the case of build environment, while the building, what kind of variable, environment variable you needed, maybe any connections, network traffic, which traffic allow, or any security parameter, or any image repository, you can any things, everything you can here select. Maybe your security and image repository, or connection parameter, build parameter, and about the runtime environment. And the runtime environment, you have to specify what are the timeout. This is the limitation. So what the maximum timeout we can go. So whatever that we discuss here, this is mentioned. Cloud run function are not timeout duration, but default is a 60 second, and maximum can be go for your 60 minute for the HTTP, and 90 minute for your this event driven function. So once you can define everything, like, then you have to say first your required configurations first. Whenever you are going to say, hey, I am, this is my first configuration, where you have to specify the generations, function name, region, trigger, and all the runtime will require. Once done, then you have to select, hey, this is my function, this is my code I want to execute. So just click the next, and while the clicking a nest, here you have to provide your code. So I say ki Java multiple runtime environment they support. You can just select which language you want. By default, these are the options you have available: .NET, Go language, any specific version you want. Java have a specific version like 11, 17, 21. Node.js have a different version available. PHP, Python, Ruby. These are the supported language. You can just select them. And once you select this Node.js, here just you write your Node.js code. Whatever the test function, you can even verify and test. If you want to the different language the JDK, sorry, Java language, and here you can write your Java code. Whatever the functions implement this, and in the function method, you can write this is a request parameter, response parameter, and everything whatever you want. Even in the different language, you want to the Go language, you can use the whatever the Go language version you want, select, and here write your Go functions. Okay, so you can say the, if you want .NET, this is the .NET function you can write here. So almost the major general purpose programming language, you can say Java, .NET, and even a PHP, even for the machine learning, data science, highly with the Python. So lots of code you can just write in a Python. So just you write and just click at the deploy, your application deployed, and the once a particular event happen, your code is going to run. Very simple. Just provide your configuration details, and then your the code, which runtime environment, and particular functions and test steps. So these are about the cloud run. Just provide the two information, basic configuration about the environment, first gen cloud run, region, triggers, and after that, in the second, you can just specify the code, which runtime environment you want, whatever the runtime environment you want. Okay, and you can just write your function here, and just click on the deploy. Your code going to deploy, and you have to test. Okay, so these are about the cloud run, and even you can want to make a moja all the, you can say, uh, more detail if you want. So just go through here, and whatever the cloud function overview, what it is, and lots of detail you can, your environmental execution, even what kind of a, you can use the console, G Cloud or ID to write your function, how to write, which language, what the deployment model, what are the triggers function you have, like HTTP trigger, pop-ups of storage, file store, and other triggers also. We have some limitation like memory limitations, function limitation. So if you talk about the memory limitation, they have a limited number of memory you can pass. Like if we have this kind of memory, maximum go to the 32 GB, you can say, memory, and the 8 virtual CPU, you can say. So these are the some limitations where we you can be aware. These are the first gen, I can say about the second gen and first gen. Okay, the both have a different configurations. Like if you go to the first generation limitation, that these are the first generation limitation. In generation, maximum about this and two virtual CPU. Okay, there are some low kind of memory limit for the first generation, and in the second generation have some higher you can configuration. So all this kind of details, if you want, you can find here. Okay, and even you want to resource limitations, you can just go to whatever the quota the Google Clouds has a offer on this, like a resource limit, time limit, rate limit, network limit. All these limitations you should aware, and these are the one simple kind of a first generation limitation and second generation limitation, and what can be increased or cannot be increased. Okay, so if your number of functions, you can say in first generation 1,000 function you can going to deploy, but in the second generation even 1,000 and other as well, as right now. And even in the maximum deployment size, what the size code could be 100 MB. Here there is no limitation, and this can be not increased. Okay, per function you can this size can be maximum requests are all of the parameters, like here, like maximum memory which can 8 GB here and here 32 GB. So these are the first gens and second days limitations. This Google Cloud already applied, so we should aware before we are going to plan to use the cloud functions. Okay. So these are the specific you can say a update or information about the cloud, you can say run. So, in short, you can say cloud run functions offer a facility. If you have a some your scenario, if particular event happen on your production environment or any cloud environment, any event happen, any HTTP request happen, or any cloud storage activity happen, or any pub sub activity happen, on the particular event occur, you want to execute set of your code, set of snippet. That set of code or snippet can be written in a different language, and it will automatically cloud function automatically going to run your function depend upon the your event trigger. Okay, so hope this information about the cloud run function is helpful for you. Thank you.